Hello, dear viewer, and welcome to another episode of the Catholic League Forum. I'm Mike McDonald, Director of Communications at the Catholic League, and joining me today is Bill Donohue, President and CEO of the Catholic League. Bill, it's great to be back.
Yes,
Summer's
yes.
over,
Right.
and now we're back into the swing of things. We got another exciting season coming up, so to speak. We got a lot going on this fall, which, dear viewer, we will tell you about as we get closer to those times. But unfortunately, Bill, in the last week, we've been dealing with a lot of anti-Catholicism across the board. Perhaps probably the most striking, of course, is whenever you see anti-Catholics getting prominent positions in the federal government and right in the White House. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going on
Yeah,
there?
the Biden administration has housed more anti-Catholics than any administration that I am aware of in the history of the United States, and we have a so-called devout Catholic president, which really irks me even further. He brings in John Podesta. First of all, they announce it on the Friday afternoon before Labor Day. That's kind of cute. Now, why is Podesta count? He's from the Center for American Progress. He worked with Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, so he's a big Clintonite. Fine. Our problem with him is what came out when we found out through WikiLeaks back around 2016 that indeed he was the guy funding and creating dummy Catholic front groups such as Catholics in Alliance with the Common Good and Catholics United to create a revolution within the Catholic Church. In other words, his goal was to sabotage the Catholic Church. We know this because of the correspondence back and forth between Sandy Newman, Ransom Voice of Progress, a left-wing group, and him, and it came out in WikiLeaks. Now, I've been fighting Catholics United and Catholics in Alliance for the Common Good for a number of years. They both crashed, by the way. We had a hand in that, people. You should know that. We were very proud that we had a hand in crashing Catholics United and Catholics in Alliance, as we did with SNAP, that phony victims group. We have a lot of proud moments here at the Catholic League. But to bring in a known, admitted anti-Catholic bigot, and I don't care that Podesta was raised Catholic.
Right.
I judge a bigot by what he says and does, not by his biography.
Yeah.
But that's how we began the week, really, with that, or, right around Labor Day.
Right. And then continuing on with this theme of very concerning things going on in the federal government, there was a Department of Justice official, Bill, who commented on LinkedIn calling Alliance Defending Freedom, ADF, a very good pro-religious freedom organization, calling them a hate group. Can you tell us a little bit what's going on there?
Listen, I've known ADF, Alliance Defending Freedom. They're top people there for a number of years. They do magnificent work. I commend them. To call them a hate group, that's what the Southern Poverty Law Center says, because they're a hate group if there ever was one. But, the thing is, this is a respectable organization. Legal scholars respect them. They've been before the United States Supreme Court. They're anything but a hate group. So people have to be careful when they throw that word around. We came out strongly in defense of them because this guy, Eric Bruskin, whom nobody ever heard of, now they know who he is, he was appointed to some position in the DOJ. And I'm thinking, wait a minute now, if Alliance Defending Freedom is a hate group, I guess we, by definition, must be, because we're on the same team. To wit, this fall, the Supreme Court is going to hear oral arguments in a case dealing with a Colorado web designer, very similar to the Baker case, where she says, I'm not going to go by a Colorado law which tells me that I have to affirm gay marriage. It's one thing to tell me I can't, service somebody who's gay, and of course you can't, and you should. You have to service everybody. But to affirm gay marriage is not the same as dealing with the services of an individual. Now, we're an amicus brief. We're a friend of the court brief. The lead counsel is ADF. And so I'm coming to their defense, not on their behalf. I didn't correspond with them. But I'm just letting the Justice Department know, bring it. We at the Catholic League are not going to wait until you come down our throats, all right? We know that we're probably in your bullseye to begin with, so we're just going to say we're here to fight. We're not a cowardly Catholic organization like, unfortunately, so many of them are.
Yeah, a lot of that. So if you're interested in any of these topics we've discussed, actually for the one about Podesta, there's a great way for you to get involved on our website, catholicleague.org. We'll have a link in the description below, but you can go there and see what else Bill has had to say about these important things. Now, shifting gears a little bit, Bill, it's still anti-Catholicism. It's always very sad to see that. It's not just the government, though. In the last week, we've seen a rash of anti-Catholicism in education. The first being last week in Connecticut. End of the week, their Project Veritas video came out, and essentially a vice principal at Greenwich, Connecticut said Catholics need not apply. Can you tell us what's going on there?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's always the white, wealthy areas. Isn't it amazing? because they never live with the consequences of their own ideas. All right, the left never lives with the consequences. Somebody else has to live with the consequences of their ideas. That's why they object to the illegals coming into New York and Chicago and D.C. They want the illegals there, but not in their place. They don't care about Texas and Arizona. Now here we have Greenwich, Connecticut. It's a very wealthy area, not far from New York City, white, rich, and this assistant principal is in charge of hiring. He didn't just make an anti-Catholic remark. He says, I don't hire Catholics. He flat out said it. It's on tape. It's indisputable. So we jumped on it immediately. We're asking him to be fired. That's what he deserves. This is against the law. And beyond that, I wrote to the Commissioner of Education for the state, asking for a statewide probe. Is this common in Connecticut? I also wrote to Dr. Tony Jones, who's the superintendent of the schools in Greenwich. Is this an anomaly or is this a pattern? If this guy said it, his name is Jeremy Boland, Boland. Check him out. Jeremy Boland, if he so casually says with aplomb that we don't hire Catholics to somebody he's never met before, this has obviously been ongoing. I hope those people who apply to a Catholic do wind up suing Coscob Elementary School if they feel that they were unfairly discriminated against by this guy Boland or anybody else at that school or anybody in the state of Connecticut. This is a serious problem.
Yep.
We await the investigation. Fortunately, this is election year, so Democrats and Republicans have come together, and this guy's goose is cooked. It's just a matter of time. But I'm very proud of the fact that we moved with alacrity on this issue.
Yes, absolutely. And dear viewer, here would be a great way for you to get involved. If you go again to the website CatholicLeague.org and find some of the stuff that Bill put out about this, we do have contact information. So this way you can keep that pressure up so we can see justice done here. And Bill, actually, we do have finally a happy story. I know we're talking about anti-Catholicism, but there actually sometimes are victories.
Right.
And this was a good one out in Tennessee. Tennessee Tech University, they had one of these drag queen performances for the kids, of all things. And one of the performers, using that term very lightly, dressed up as a friar and nun, some sort of made a sign of a cross during the dance, and then stripped into some sort of crazy demonic outfit. And what has the university done today?
Well, I'm very happy. This is amazing. They started class on August 18th at Tennessee Tech, and 2 days later, that Saturday, they have this drag queen guy, Witched, who comes out there, like you say, dressed like a friar, strips down, wearing a corset and some crazy clothes, saying the sign of the cross. They've got little kids as well as college students. They are throwing him money and parading around and just mocking our religion. Now, it was very interesting. I know you'll be watching this at different times. It was on September the 8th that we learned about this, and that late afternoon put together, that's all the great work that you guys do at the Catholic League in following through and getting the research on this and the video. Followed through. I was going to send it out on September the 9th that morning, a letter to the president and to the dean of students, as well as to the senators, Haggerty and Blackburn, and also to the members of the legislature who deal with education in the Assembly and in the Senate, as well as the governor, saying, we need to know, are you going to bring this guy back? He's scheduled to come back on September 24th. You can't have this going on.
Right.
This is the Constitution applies to the public institutions, and you can't show hostility. Those are the words of Chief Justice Warren Burger in Lynch versus Donnelly in 1984. Now, the good news is that we came to work on the 9th, and we found out that late at night, 11:05, a TV station posted in Tennessee the remarks by the president, Phil Oldham, and he said, we're not putting up with this. And they're not going to allow the student groups to put on these performances again. And he said, we don't tolerate this. This doesn't represent our values. We put out a statement today commending him, but also showing to everybody what we were prepared to do, kind of preempted by him a little bit, but also letting everybody know we would never walk away from this. So we're right on top of that. And it's a credit to the Catholic League staff that we moved so quickly.
Yeah, absolutely, Bill. It's always great to close out the week with a win, especially when people come to their senses and defend. Because he even did mention, and he didn't even have to mention the religious aspect, but the university president did mention that. So
he's a good man.
That was a very strong statement on his, and we're very appreciative of them doing that. So, Bill, that seems like a good spot to wrap it up here, but just a few little housekeeping things. Dear viewer, we're going to be back every week, schedules permitting, now until probably about around Christmas. So do keep an eye out every Friday. We should be putting out a new episode. And if you can always, as always, give a like and subscribe, that greatly helps. And do stay tuned because we're going to have a lot more victories to tell you about in the coming weeks. Thanks for watching.
Thank
Thanks,
you
Bill.
so much. Thank you.